Hi guys, it's Ben from TX Space Station. How's everyone doing? As you will know, I've been on a massive shmup kick on the Game Boy, and I've been slowly trying to collect as many of these games as I can. It's not exactly a system, as I've said before, that was well known for SHMUPS, much more commonly Mario games and things like that, but it does have a really good library of shmups if you know where to look. Now this is Burai Fighter, which is one of the more interesting games that I've picked up in recent months. It is kind of a side-scrolling shmup, but it has more than just that, as you can see, because you can move in multiple different directions and actually influence the scrolling of the level by the movement. And for that reason, it has a certain uniqueness to it, to the way that it plays. This is a game that's also not too brutally punishing. It's not a walk in the park, but it's kind of forgiving compared to some of the other shmups that you'll find on the system. Let's just say I'm not very good at these kind of games, and even I have managed to complete this one, although there are 3 difficulty settings and I've only beaten it on the easiest setting. There are quite a few power-ups which you can grab if you're good enough. I can't really remember where they appear, but they do various... I can't remember if you've got different fire modes, and you've got also maybe a shield, stuff like that. So it's the kind of standard stuff. I kind of just like the way that they've approached this game though. It's different, it's kind of cool. You're like a dude with a jetpack just blasting his way through stuff. Look at the jazzy backgrounds as well. It's like some kind of 1960s wallpaper. I'm sure some of you guys have got grandmas with wallpaper like that background. I'm continually impressed by what people manage to do with the limitations of the Game Boy, because these games are really, really decent given the limitations of the hardware. You know, they're very, very playable. And I just love playing Game Boy shmups. There's something about the colour palette of these games which just takes me back to that, you know, nostalgia of the early and mid 90s when I was playing on my Game Boy. As you know, I'm playing this on the Super Game Boy on the SNES, and there are various different colour palettes that you can use on that. I kind of like to use this palette because to me it's the most Game Boy-like. Here we go, we've got an extra firing mode there. It's green. To me, green is synonymous with those early Game Boy days, you know. You can have black and white as well, which if you're playing any of these games on emulators and things, they'll show them in the black and white. But, I don't know, to me it's just all about that green. I mean, I have been working on backlighting many of my Game Boys, and the most clear, vibrant backlight you can get basically is kind of white, and it actually makes the graphics look bluish. But I mean, as great as that is and as clear as it is, it's just not as nostalgic as it should be. And so therefore in my original Game Boy, the one that I got as a gift many, many years ago, which is the Play It Loud series yellow one, for that one I actually installed a backlight that was much more faithful to the original colour. So that one has got, here we go, we've got firing out the back now, it's like a fart attack. That one has got a kind of, I think it was a greenish, can't remember the name of it, yes, olive green. And it is backlit, but it's subtle, and for me that's the best of both worlds, between preserving the clarity of the system, but actually, you know, giving you some backlight and making it much easier to see, because if you've tried to play on a Game Boy recently, that thing was temperamental, dude. You needed to have just the right light, and you really didn't want too much light. I wonder if any of the other buttons do anything. No, obviously that button changes the colour scheme. I never really got why a lot of the Super Game Boy games default on the on this to like a weird reddish colour. It's like, that's the worst of both worlds. It's neither the original Game Boy sort of theme, and it's also pretty awful to look at. So I pretty much never play games in that red. Oh, here we go. I think these little bits of fire or whatever they are build up the power. See, now I've got sort of a weird donut attack, firing donuts all over the place. And we've got a boss. It's some kind of, I don't know, it's an evil lobster. Screw that. The lobster's getting revenge for being fished, and his brothers have been cooked in restaurants and things. Oh, and he goes down relatively easily. Bye-bye, lobster monster. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we get 6,500 bonus points. And yes, that's the good thing about this game. It actually has a password system. And well, yeah, it's good, you know, it means that if you die and stuff, you don't have to start from the beginning. But what I was going to say is, the really good thing about that is, did you notice the password was only 4 digits? What was it with games back in the day of making password systems and having the most convoluted, impossible to type in passwords? I remember games like Road Rash. Road Rash has a password system, but it's like, how many flipping letters do I have to put into this thing? It's ridiculous. Back in the day, I would have had to write those down and spend 5 minutes figuring it out. I mean, nowadays with the iPhone, I actually just take a quick screen grab with a photo, but even then, it's like, could you not have simplified that a little bit? Oh, there we go. I don't know what that is. Oh, shit. Yes, this is what happens if you pick the wrong route. A little bit harsh, but you've got to know where you're going. HGKM is the password. I could almost remember that. Right, yeah, but this is cool. I like this dynamic. It's you will notice that you when you die, you come back with that power-up, so I'm slow again. But I like that. You kind of got to learn the route and make the best way through the level. It is possible to run into dead ends. That's nice to me. I like the fact there's that element of choice and learning the correct path and a bit of skill. But it's not brutally difficult. I mean, yeah, you make the wrong choice there, you just come back and choose left. It's not so harsh like, say, the R-Type Game Boy game where there's a lot of difficulty mobilizing through the levels, but it's really tight and sometimes a bit cheap, and, you know, it's pixel perfect in terms of whether you're going to clip into an enemy and die or whatever. It's at least fair. You may say the backgrounds here are a little bit basic. It's kind of mostly white with a little bit of cloud. Certainly not the best looking of the shmups on the system, but it's by no means bad. It's definitely good enough for me to enjoy myself, and it handles really responsively, it plays really smoothly, it's great. As I said, probably the best Game Boy game in terms of graphics, and also the best shmup on the Game Boy, is probably Gunbird Zas. But man, you try getting hold of that bad boy. It doesn't come up anywhere. I can see it on eBay in some of the Japanese websites. It's hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's such a shame because it's a game that looks so fantastic and really pushes the Game Boy right to its limits. And I've hit into one of the swinging Watsits. Let's see how far back it starts you if you do that. Not too far back. Let's crack on. I do remember it getting quite hard, actually. There are bits where platforms fall down on your head with the boss. Right. Yeah, it doesn't start you back too far. That's always nice. I just need to try and, yeah. Ooh, this is a good shot. It's like a 4-way spread. Right, I need to stay back. What I was doing there, the mistake was going too close to the edge. Is it me, or do I detect a degree of slowdown when I'm firing that 4-way shot? It's too many pixels for the game to handle. There's definitely a bit of slowdown. You compare me flying without it to when I'm shooting it. It starts juddering a little bit. Whoopsie daisy. Never mind, it's not too big a deal. You do notice on quite a few of the games back in the day there's slowdown. Even some Mega Drive games. I think Empire of Steel, one of the shooters that I really like, actually has a lot of slowdown, but sometimes you can use it to your advantage. It's like, great, there's loads of bullets on screen and it's slowing down. I can actually figure out where the hell to go and not get killed. I'll take that any day. Right, we're coming into a sort of indoorsy area with quite a lot of bits going on. As I said, it's not solid, but there are things to pay attention to and navigate. I don't think that touching the side kills you, actually. Oh, this isn't good. I've got a square attack, but enemies directly above me. Yeah, touching into the side doesn't actually kill you, which is nice as well. Sometimes that can feel a little bit crappy and cheap when you've got to like be pixel perfect going through some of the levels like in the R-Type game. So as you can see, the closer I get to up or down, it scrolls the screen slightly as well, which I like. This game just feels unique. It feels good. I actually look a bit like a Space Marine. But when I'm standing like that, I look like a Space Marine. That's cool. This is not a Warhammer endorsed game. Oh, we've got some serious firepower now. I'm firing out like huge, big, stocky missiles. Are we going to have a boss? Yes, we are. I don't know what it is. It's evil looking. And we've got background scrolling very nicely now. Is he going to fire anything out? Maybe not. I'm going to just keep blasting at him. Oh, he split into two. I wasn't expecting him to split into two. Oh dear. It's like some kind of, what is it, like a worm? People used to say that if you cut a worm in half it would split into two. I don't know if that's true, and don't try that at home. Anyway, we're back up to maximum power up. Let's have another go at that. We can take him down. I sort of feel obliged to now before the end of the video. You know, I can't just die against the boss repeatedly and leave it there, fizzling out, all embarrassed with my tail between my legs. Oh God, yeah, don't do that. It's all about positioning. That's one of the things you learn with shmups, isn't it? You always want to intrinsically stay right at the edge of the screen, but obviously that removes the degrees of freedom. Yeah, there we go. The more you damage him, the more he splits up, which is odd. Which bit am I aiming for? The tail, the head, the middle bit? Oh God, lots of him. Lots of bits. He's falling apart now anyway. Let's get these power-ups. Probably shouldn't stand too close to the edge. Come back! These bosses are always easy once you know what you're doing. Same with the R-type ones. It's a really hard game, but then you can actually quite quickly learn how to kill the bosses, and sometimes there are cheap ways. Yes, there we go. Boss is dead. This is Burai Fighter on the Game Boy. Great game, one you can find without spending too much money. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!